Okay, there we go. You guys hear me now? Might take you guys a couple seconds to answer me, so... Yeah, you don't see me because I'm still... Yeah, so here we go.
Don't get straight, no, 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 oh, I ain't getting straight, don't get straight, I ain't getting straight, I'm sick of the suffering, can't stand the pain, don't get straight. Well, we know the story, oh, ain't the way to say, we can see, later they got you Brennan's head, totally insane. Don't get strange. Everything they got, questionable evidence gathered by Manny Wall, but it makes such sense. Why they're in the game? Don't get strange. Don't get straight, no, no, no. Oh, now I ain't getting straight. Don't get straight. I ain't getting straight. And that lying, that cheating, that predatory sweaty, anything he said,
You can throw away. He's a legal stain.
don't get strange. Homie, we finally find out who's to blame. Don't get strange.
Hi, Sharon. Hi, Ziggy. Hi, Survivor. Don't get strange. All right, so okay, that's enough fun with Stacy's songs. Now we'll just switch over to here. Hello, there I am. Hi, everybody. So I was gonna get on tonight. Just talked real quick, probably short, maybe I don't know, about a half hour or so. About basically an upcoming series of videos. Hey guys, down to one pack and lots of Corona with limes, right, Linda? Let's see here. Hi there, Linda. So, upcoming kind of series of videos. It was going to be one video, I thought at first, but it's like, as I'm researching this, and I'm starting out with the bones, and as I'm researching, I'm realizing that in order to make this, all of this information I'm looking to convey, in order to make it like able to be digestible, is I think I got to break it up into shorter segments. So the idea is, and some people may kind of be squeamish at this, but the idea is to look at the evidence against Stephen Avery, to take the evidence, the evidence that was used at trial, essentially, against Stephen Avery, and to take a honest, like unbiased, look at why it's damning for Stephen that this evidence was found, essentially. But then, with each piece of evidence, we're going to be following up with all of the things that are incredibly suspect about the collection, finding, other factors around the finding of things that are highly suspicious, and so like I said, the first one I'm starting out with is the bones, and we're going to be you know, talking about all the reasons, like I said at first, about why it's not good for Stephen that they are found on his property and in his burn pit. You know, why it's like obviously like, you know, oh yeah, dude, you never want to find something like that on your property, right? So it's like the obvious reason why it's not good for Stephen that they're found on his property, anywhere on his property. And then we're going to go into all the reasons why these bones have issues and why they're suspect. And so there's going to be both sides. Because I kind of assume that there's a lot of people out there like me. And to break it down for you guys, like what I mean by that is, I assume there's a lot of people out there that when they go listening to news or getting news information from somewhere, that, well, I'll put it this way. I note if the person is incredibly biased and if they're derisive in the way that they report. That's something I notice, and it turns me off. It you know, once I believe that the person giving the information has an agenda and is disrespectful and a jerk about it, I tend not to like that. It tends to put me off. And so that's basically where this idea comes from, where I want it to be a pretty even-handed look at the evidence against Stephen, so that people, whichever way they believe, that they can look at it and go, even if you believe they're guilty, you can look at it and go, yeah, well, I can understand why this is in question. Even if you believe it still means he's guilty, I think having these things laid out in a plain fashion can at least get people to come to grips with the fact that, yes, there are issues here. And this evidence does have some issues that are concerning. Just so happens some people fall one way and some people fall the other way. But the fact is there's lots of questions here, and that's why everybody's still talking about it. That's the truth of it. So that's the idea of this video. All right, what's everybody saying? Great to hear. Oh, awesome. Yep. Good for you, Linda. Very good for you. Yes, Sharon, shorter segments. We were going to try and make it one video, but I think it would end up being a long video. And the problem is that if you go too long with people, especially with people that don't know you and aren't a fan of you, if you go too long, they lose interest, or even if they're still watching, their active mind can sometimes fall asleep and they're not actually picking up the information anymore. So I figured if we did this in a different way, where we make it a series of videos, the evidence against Avery and the problems with it, essentially something like that, where people can see it's going to be both sides of the coin, right? That's the idea. And what I wanted to do is, because I was realizing that just the bone one alone is going to be pretty long, right? So I was like, maybe I want to break this up so that it's in more shorter, digestible segments. So that's what that meant. Yeah. Do you smoke? Yeah, that's funny, Ziggy. Agree to shorter segments. I've been looking forward to this video series for a while. Actually, Julie's actually helping me with it, along with something else very important she's helping me with right now. We're creating a little website for people to be able to get their Justice Mobile stuff. So we'll also give time to understand and get real in-depth. Yeah, and that's the idea of it, is that for people to look at it and go, and to see, I mean, I'm going to obviously go, okay, these bones are found in Stephen Avery's burn pit. And then I'm going to show the part of the transcripts where it's said that it's, 60%, right? 60% of the bones. I'm going to show that in Stephen Avery's. And then I'm going to explain, okay, this is damning because, look, Teresa was at the Avery salvage yard on the 31st, and then they are finding these bones in his fire pit. This is damning to him. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why that is damning for him and why that works against him and that sort of stuff, and then move into, but here are the problems. And that's where we're going to get into all the bones in the quarry. I think I'm going to be using Julie Pompom's little map that she made, where she mapped all the coordinates of where they found bones. And I'm going to put that up for people to see that, and so that people can see everything that goes along with it, and why we all feel like this evidence is just not as convincing as the state of Wisconsin would have anyone believe, right? And that's the idea here. I realize that I may not change everyone's mind, but if there's a few people out there that are still kind of on the fence and kind of still, wonder, kind of in quandary or whatever, but they aren't actually digging into the documents, they aren't motivated to go that far as a lot of us were, hopefully I can make something that's real easy. They can sit down for 10, 15 minutes on maybe 5 or 6 different videos possibly, and they can get both sides of it, in an even way, which is, it's like I said, that's something I appreciate. So I figure, why not make a video that I would appreciate, and I'm sure, I know most of the time I'm pretty unbiased. I try to, report things in a very, even-handed manner. But, I clearly do believe Steve and Brendan are innocent, and certainly that will come through at times. So I have to acknowledge that, because that's just going to be a truth of the way it is. So, like if we were the jury, the hardest thing is waiting, definitely. The waiting is the hardest part. I love that song by Petty. Anyway. So, it's like I said, then, the idea is we're going to be doing like the bones, right? It's going to recover the bones and why that's not good for Stephen, and then also why there's so many issues with the bones. It's going to involve the coroner, the fact that she was barred. I'm going to be showing the tweet by Jerry where he talks about the fact that the coroner that was barred was ready to show up with a forensic anthropologist, which is what Ken Kratz is claiming he needed, yet they barred the forensic pathologist. That, right? It's like these things show a mentality, a methodology, an effort, a concerted effort, in this case. And so we're going to be showing all those things, and we're going to be showing where the bones were found in the quarries. And then we're going to be showing what the state's been doing with the bones found over in the Manitowoc County gravel pit and all that. And we're going to show all that too. And that's going to be the bones video. So that everybody can see that it's not just little nitpicky little things that are happening. It's huge, huge things that are happening. But I want to convey it in a very even-handed manner is the whole point. So, you have not always been sure about Stephen, but you still shared the info in an unbiased way. I truly, honestly was way more on the fence back in the days when I just first watched the documentary. I was always certain about Brendan. I mean, that bothered me from the get-go, from the word go. What happened to Brendan bothered me. But yeah, with Stephen, I was more on the fence. Because of the disturbing things in his past, those things did concern me. I think I now come to think that they are mainly knucklehead stuff, dumb knucklehead things he did. But they were aggressive. And so, back then, I was on the fence. But as I dug into the documents and started seeing more and more stuff, and then the CD thing, and I've explained my issue with the CD many, many times, they could have handed that over before. Especially if they cared about things all coming under one motion. They could have handed that CD over before Judge Sukowicz decided on the original motion for post-conviction relief, but they didn't. They waited till after, because they knew it was uncommon for the Court of Appeals in the state of Wisconsin to remand anything. So they waited till after and handed it over then, and then it got remanded. Right? It's the way the state plays everything, the way the state is playing the game, and the way they're deliberately trying to, muddy the water. It's it's made it more obvious to me that Stephen is innocent, that these guys did frame him. And it's just a matter of time. That's because that's what the evidence continues to suggest. Now we find out about the bones that they gave back, that they hid what they had done. Why did they hide what they had done? Because they knew it was wrong. That's why they knew it was wrong. That's why they hid it. And the fact that they hid it shows that they knew it was wrong. They knew it was wrong. That's why they hid it. Right? So it comes out again and again and again, where it's not Avery playing games, it's the state playing games. And that's, I'm sorry, something that I can't ignore. Because it shouldn't be again and again and again that the state is playing games. That is a highly disturbing sequence of events. Seriously, disturbing sequence of events. And they just keep quiet. They just keep shutting up and not saying anything. They got Judge Sukowitz over there, playing assistant district attorney / judge over in Sheboygan, and they're keeping this from becoming, a bigger deal. Well, eventually I think the lid's going to blow off this thing, because how can it not? Hey, Truth Monster. Hi, Vanessa Overton. Yeah, it takes way too long to get innocent ones out. You're absolutely right. That's true. You don't need to lie if you don't have anything to hide. Exactly. And I saw something today in Brendan's group on Facebook. It was posted by Tracy Keogh. You guys know I love Tracy Keogh. I've had her here on the channel a few times. She's brilliant from down in Australia there in Melbourne. And she's awesome, but she put up this post today where it was playing the clip of where Brendan says that stuff about they got to my head. But it starts where he says, what if, he's like, what if it didn't happen that way? What if Stephen says something different? Okay? And the reason why Brendan is saying that, okay, I made a comment on the post because I had to. I was like, that's another crucial point for me, because where Brendan is saying that about what if Stephen says I wasn't there, or I didn't have anything to do with it? The reason he's asking Barb that question is because earlier in the interrogation, the Wiegert and Fassbender had told Brendan, you know what, you got to watch out, because Stephen's looking to he's looking to get out of this. He's going to start talking, and he's going to start pinning all this on you. And they're telling him how Stephen talking could damn him or work against him. So what Brendan was doing, and this proves to me, this proves beyond so many shadows of a doubt how innocent Brendan is, because he takes that, what they said, and he reverses the logic on it. Okay? He reverses the logic on it, and that's why when he's telling his mom, what if Stephen says something different? What if he says, like, I wasn't there? And he's assuming that Stephen would say that. Why would he be assuming that Stephen would say that? Because that's the truth. He knows he wasn't there. That's why he's assuming if Stephen tells the truth, that it will set him free. He's assuming that he doesn't realize that the cops are only going to use negative things. He doesn't realize that even if Stephen gave a glowing account where Brendan wasn't involved and all that sort of stuff, that they're probably not going to let him go. He doesn't understand that, but he's thinking if Stephen's words can damn him, he's thinking Stephen's words can help him. And so that's why he's asking his mom that right there. And to me, it's his assumption that Stephen's story wouldn't include him, to me, proves just how innocent that kid is. And I couldn't help but comment on it. Yeah. Judge Sukowitz had a lot of good quotes in that decision. Is it the old God cop, bad cop? Oh, good cop, bad cop routine? Tell us. We know already. Stephen has told us. Liars are not trusting people. No trust. Then nothing for me. Can't trust you. Kick the dirt away from me. Hashtag Brendan be brave. Be Brendan brave. There you go. Liars and attention needing are a huge turnoff. Absolutely. So it's like I said, it was a brilliant post, but that quote of Brendan where he's asking, what if Stephen's story is different? What if he says I wasn't there? That's Brendan basically wanting to figure out some way that the truth could help him, because he knows he wasn't there. For me, that's a crucial quote from Brendan, and I think maybe it doesn't get enough attention. I know I've called attention to it a few times, but maybe it doesn't get enough, because that is a huge quote in my mind. And it was, like I said, Tracy Keogh was the one that posted it in Brendan's group today, and it was spectacular. Sukowitz made no mention of the court order to retain that evidence. Oh, Sukowitz, yeah, I mean, what was it, 12 pages? I mean, she tried to make it as short as possible because she didn't want to end up saying, she didn't want to talk too much and say something really bad. Worse than it's okay that the state gave the grieving family, animal bones. She didn't want to, I think maybe she just quit at 12 pages because she didn't want to end up saying anything else as offensive and alarming as that. Right? So. Keep denying this? Yeah. Judge Sukowitz. Yep. Good old Judge Suk. I'm actually going back to bed. Just wanted to pop in and say hi. Bye, Sharon. I'm actually going to be checking out here in a few minutes, too. This is just going to be a short video. Wanted to talk to everybody about an upcoming series of videos, like I said. So, we're going to be talking about the evidence against Avery. Why it's not good for him, and also why there's issues, and so that's what's coming up in the future. We are going to be, I am going to be shutting this down here pretty soon. But I'm happy to see everybody here today. So happy so many of you showed up. I just did one other, I'll talk about this real quick. I just did a video where I was showing the Justice Mobile magnets on my car and stuff. And I was talking about an upcoming plan for anybody that's in the Southern California area that might want to get in on it. Where we're going to try to go with the banner that we had made in Australia that says Free Stephen Avery and Free Brendan Dassey, work with KZ. And we're going to go to some of the iconic places on the Strip, like, the Roxy, the Whiskey A Go-Go, and that sort of stuff, and some of those iconic places there on the Strip, and do some pictures with the banner, and try to get a group of Southern California folks that are supporting Brendan and Stephen to show up so we can have a kind of a group with that banner. And taking some pictures and stuff, and so they can be tweeted and also put into a video when I get home and stuff like that. So if anybody is interested in that, let me know. My email address should be down below in the information down below. Send me an email if you are in the Southern California area or will be soon and maybe want to try to be a part of this. Let me know. I think this could be a lot of fun. And I'm hoping we might even get some of the people there on the street, who have watched Making a Murderer and support Stephen and Brendan to kind of jump in on it. And maybe it could be a really fun thing, I hope. So, anyway. See you later, Sharon. And like I said, hopefully there'll be some interest for that. I think it could be a lot of fun. So, that's what we're looking to do here coming up in the future. Those couple of things. you jelly, Linda? Well, next time you can get out here to Southern Cali, let us know, and we'll do it again. And then, like I said, we might even be able to plan like a weekend next month and get another group of people, from Southern California, and show up and like do something out in front of like Disneyland or Disney's California Adventure or something like that, and do something with the banner out in front of there with a group of people. So. I'm counting on Julie Pom Pom to be there, and with her son Cody, who I will be doing Doctor Who reviews with on my other channel here very soon. So, Yeah. There you go. There you go. See, Linda, you have a place to stay. So anyway, so yeah, hopefully it's going to be a lot of fun. So those are some of the ideas we got moving forward here. Like I said, we're working on creating a website right now to make it really, really easy for people to go and order their own Justice Mobile magnets, where it makes it obvious that, number one, nobody's making any profit off of it except for Vistaprint, and where people can take care of it and do it themselves without any other kind of drama. So we are working on that, and hopefully we'll have that up and running within the next week. Or hopefully within the next couple days to a week. So, but that's what we're working on, things that we're doing. So, hey, that's where we're headed. Hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully there'll be some interest in this idea about, doing some pictures with the banner we had made in Australia. Stacy and I, Stacy and I were like sweating it a bit when we got approached at Marvel Stadium by the police officers. They were quite stern and weren't really very amused, but we didn't feel like we were doing anything wrong, and honestly, by their own standards, we weren't, because they ended up just wanting to check and make sure it wasn't racially charged, like having some kind of racial message to it or something like that, and that it wasn't an advertisement, because obviously they have advertisers that pay to advertise there at their stadium. So if we were advertising for someone else, that would have been an issue with them. It was neither one of those things, and so they were fine with it, and they let us go on our merry way. So that banner's got a lot of history. It's got a lot of stories wrapped up in it. So I want to keep that going. I want to try to, as best we can, keep that kind of going, because the night at the Duke of Enmore, when we were in the lobby with that thing and people just were flooding in and wanting to take a picture with it and all that sort of stuff, it was amazing. And I just want to create more stories like that to go along with this banner, because this banner has been a lot of fun. So it was actually supposed to go back to Scotland with Mr. Capaldi from Wisconsin, but he was just like, I can't, I don't have room for it, I can't, there's no way. And I was just like wanting to slap him, but whatever. So next time. Yeah, it's going to be an even-handed, like I said, it's going to be an even-handed thing where we're going to honestly look at why it works against Stephen, but we're going to also look at why it doesn't necessarily work so much against Stephen, because it has so many issues with it. So that's where we're headed with that. And then, like I said, the other idea with the banner and hitting some iconic landmarks, and with hopefully a big group of Stephen and Brendan supporters. So keep those things in mind, folks. Thank you for being here and hanging out. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe, and we'll see you.